SignalStore is our backend for telemetry where correlation happens automatically. Let me show you how, starting with how you query it. The query builder lets you build a query across any signal by picking dropdowns instead of writing it by hand. If you'd rather write the query yourself, you can do that directly in PromQL. There is a SQL editor too. This one, span duration by product ID, joins the logs table directly to span on trace underscore ID without any exports or having to stitch two systems together. The editor also has some query templates organized by signal. This one is called logs with trace correlation. It selects everything from logs where trace underscore ID is an empty. As a result, you get trace underscore ID and span underscore ID back as clickable columns on the log row. So clicking either one lands you directly on that span, its place in the trace, how its duration compares, and its attributes. Switching to the Logging Explorer, if we click on a log line, we can see the trace context directly. We can also see the service, the runtime powering it, and where it's running on Kubernetes. We can also group by other attributes like trace or pod. So you see all the logs from the same trace, or you can see all the logs from the same pod. Metrics work the same way. Click into any metric and you get the PromQL expression behind the chart, plus which resources are producing it. Tracing is where the correlation is easiest to see directly. Filtering to errors is one click. And if we click on a specific span, the Overview tab shows us a mini trace view along with its duration and other information. But let's click View Full Trace first. Here, we can see the whole call chain this span is part of. Exactly which service called which, where the request started, if it's linked from somewhere else. Plus, we can see the span events and log lines that happened inside it, with timestamps and message without leaving the trace. Going back to the single span, there is also a tab for attributes, resource, and infrastructure details. Related logs and events shows that same span to log correlation directly, just with more control. We can widen the scope by span, by resource, by trace, or both together. Now, the links tab shows us that this span links out to a separate trace entirely, a different request that's causally related to this one, even though it's not a direct parent-child call in the same trace. We get a preview of it right here, when it happened, how long it took, and its attributes. If we click Full Trace, we're inside another trace entirely, as you can see. And even better, if the request came from a real session, we get a web monitoring context right next to the trace. We can see the user, the website, the system, the location. So a backend error doesn't just tell you a request failed, it tells you who was actually affected. If we click View Full Session, we get everything that session did. Every page, every request, every tab that was used if it was back and forth, all the way through. Going back, let me show you the last tab, the Source tab. This has the raw data in standard OpenTelemetry format. So if you ever wanted to take this data elsewhere, it's not trapped into some proprietary format. The last signal is web events. You get page views, JavaScript errors, HTTP requests, and if you click on one, the session panel gives you the user, domain, browser, and location. Below that, you can see the request context linking straight to the backend trace for that request. None of this is limited to a person clicking through on the website either. There is a hosted MCP server, there is a CLI, and we also have a full REST API underneath, so an agent gets to see all the same data. The more telemetry you send, the more correlation you get back. Everything is stored in one place in SignalStore, it's connected and queryable through the builder, PromQL, or SQL.